Hi, everyone, and welcome to today's OpenShift webinar hosted by Prolifics and Red Hat, where you'll be learning how the powerful enterprise-ready Kubernetes platform can empower businesses to develop faster, deploy first, and uncover new revenue streams. I'm Harry Leonard, one of Prolifics' Red Hat specialists. If you've not heard of Prolifics, we're a global IT consultancy company with over 40 years of experience assisting our clients and partners on their digital transformation journeys across a wide range of industries. In addition to our IBM Platinum Partner status, we're also a fully accredited Red Hat partner with the ability to resell and deliver a range of solutions based on their technology. We've seen that OpenShift is one of the most exciting platforms on the market, and it would be a pleasure to introduce Graham Berry, Red Hat's EMEA lead for OpenShift, to dive deeper into how OpenShift has provided incredible benefits to numerous businesses around the globe. Over to you, Graham.
Hello and welcome to the webinar today. My name is Graham Berry and I'm the EMEA sales lead for OpenShift here at Red Hat. I'd like to take you through an overview of OpenShift and some examples of the benefits it brings to our customers. So business is moving faster than ever before. Today we can do things we would only dream of a few years ago. Technology, open source communities, and new ways of collaborating are driving business innovation. So no longer are we looking at startups and Web 2.0 companies like Facebook, Uber and Airbnb for inspiration as what innovation looks like. Today, every organization in every geography and any industry can innovate, create more customer value and compete on an equal playing field. And with Red Hat OpenShift, we're building on our heritage of Red Hat Enterprise Linux to provide you with a platform that enables your organization to innovate faster. But why is being able to move faster and innovate so important? So what we're hearing from our customers around the world is that their ability to create value for their end customers, both internal and external, depends on their ability to deliver applications faster. It's really that ability to be great at application development and app delivery, to differentiate yourself and your business, engage with customers, and find new ways to create value that could turn into revenue opportunities. For example, the CEO of Volkswagen says that there are now more than 10 million lines of code going into the average car, probably more than what's in your smartphone today. Best Buy uses a combination of customer-facing mobile apps, bricks and mortar services strategies to thrive in the face of Amazon. And even GE Digital has adopted what they call Kubernetes as a service to enable developers to innovate across their organization. So containers and Kubernetes really fundamentally enable DevOps, microservices, and cloud-native application development. And we'd like to think that OpenShift is the best platform to deliver applications across the hybrid cloud. Creating value for both external and internal customers depends on your ability to deliver application faster. So we believe that containers, Kubernetes, and DevOps are the key ingredients that a modern application platform should be based on. That allows you to transform your traditional apps, build cloud-native applications, and also experiment with analytics, machine learning, and service applications. This application platform needs to provide a consistent way for both developers and ops teams to collaborate across all deployment footprints, from edge and air-gapped environments to infrastructure you have in your own data center, and all the way to the hybrid cloud. So I want to share some examples as we go through this with customers as well. So at VW, autonomous driving and connected cars are on the forefront of their thinking. The traditional way of integration testing of the hardware for the cars was inefficient and time consuming. So OpenShift is now allowing them to spawn virtual test environments for their hardware. The time savings for them was immeasurable. Literally anything they dream up, they can now easily simulate virtually now. This results in significant cost savings for both OPEX and CAPEX for VW. So let's look at some more customers as well. You know, the thing about OpenShift is we've been doing this for a long time now, and we have more than 1,000 OpenShift customers globally. And if we look around the globe at how they're using OpenShift, we find solutions that span a broad range of use cases. As you glance through this slide, you can see that very notable companies are using OpenShift to solve a variety of their digital transformation needs, from efforts in modernizing their legacy applications through creating Internet of Things solutions. These organizations are leveraging OpenShift to deploy containerized solutions that are transforming the way they do business. Companies like HCA are fighting sepsis in their hospitals to reduce the number of preventable deaths from the condition. Emirates MBD is changing the face of mobile banking for their customers. And Cathay Pacific is improving their customer experience by migrating legacy applications to a more agile containerized model. All of these things across these different industries with different use cases, all relying on the power of OpenShift. So why do customers choose Red Hat OpenShift? So the guiding principles behind OpenShift can be categorized into 4 areas. So innovation is happening in open source communities. We know that that's where all of the new things are coming from. And Red Hat is the best positioned company because we're 100% open source. It's what we were born from, and it's what we continue to do today, and where we invest our money, that to help contribute and grow those communities, as well as bring the value of that innovation to customers. It's one thing having, you know, a good open source project, but it's how do you make that an enterprise ready piece of software? And that's what Red Hat specializes in. While customers have demands to run applications in many clouds, they also want to reduce the amount of operational complexity that comes from a multi-cloud strategy. OpenShift enables customers to have a consistent development and operational experience across any combination of clouds, public and private. And as we've learned over the years, there is no single profile of a developer or the way that developers want to get applications into production. So OpenShift is flexible to enable many ways to empower developers, now many types of applications on that platform. Challenges in OpenShift, and what is the value that OpenShift provides in each of these categories? So for container security, you know, we take container security very seriously, and we take a holistic approach to deliver what we call a trusted enterprise Kubernetes platform. As you know, containers are Linux, and so is Kubernetes. And because we also provide RHEL, which is trusted by thousands of enterprises worldwide, we can deliver a secure platform across the stack. We stand behind that with long-term support. We recognize that keeping up with the frequent upstream releases can be a real challenge, and we're investing in automated capabilities like the operator framework and over-the-air updates to make it easier to keep up to date with the latest innovations coming out of the communities and to deploy containers at scale. It's all about developers, as we said, you know, it's all about being able to develop applications a lot faster. Therefore, developers and the tools they have are important. And we're investing in things such as automation capabilities in OpenShift, CI/CD pipelines, A/B testing, developer tools like code-ready workspaces, and cloud-native frameworks that include Spring, serverless, and Windows containers to inspire developers to create the best code. So no matter what applications you're building, chances are you can improve your developer productivity with OpenShift, and we'll share some more information on that as we move forward. So a lot of time customers will say, okay, that's great, but you know, you've got to pay for OpenShift, and Kubernetes is an open source piece of technology, so you know, why can't we just do this ourselves? So installing Kubernetes and playing around with it for many is not actually a big issue. But establishing Kubernetes as a platform for the enterprise to run business critical applications takes a lot more. So while it's not actually that hard to download and install Kubernetes, getting it really ready for production to run business critical applications for an enterprise really does take a lot of work. There are a number of things that need to be pieced together, tested and hardened, for example. Take identity management. With Kubernetes, you'll be providing access to critical internal systems to employees, partners, and customers. You need to adhere to the security rules established within your company. The way to do that is to write an integration between Kubernetes and your company's approved LDAP. That requires knowledge, you know, the open source identity system, Kubernetes, and integration systems to LDAP. Similarly, you need to hook up something like Prometheus, open source monitoring and alerting, or hook up another monitoring system so you can get full visibility into your Kubernetes operations in testing and production. These are all things that Red Hat provide out of the box with OpenShift. So there's one thing playing around with Kubernetes and building the DIY approach, but then there's all these other things you need to run Kubernetes at scale. And what we find is a lot of our customers will then realize that actually they don't want to be the people that are building the platform. They want to focus on what their business actually provides to their customers, and they just want the technology to be able to work out of the box. And that's really the power of OpenShift. So let's explain a bit about how we build OpenShift. So at Red Hat, we use a 100% open source development model to deliver our enterprise products. There's no fork, there's no rebase, there's no proprietary extensions. Our secret sauce is our ability to turn dozens and hundreds of open source projects into production ready, stable and secure enterprise products that we support over many years. When the community declares a release ready, we typically find hundreds of defects that we fix in the corresponding downstream releases. So we never release any of our products with the codes until we've done a lot of testing and bug fixing before that goes into our customers. We can do that because we've been contributing to Kubernetes and many other projects that OpenShift is based on since day one. So we're the largest enterprise developer of the Kubernetes project besides the sponsor, which is Google. So this is really important when we talk about, you know, why you choose Red Hat for an OpenShift container platform. There are many people that will take the code that comes from the upstream, but not many are contributing as much as Red Hat is and driving the community forward. So if there's a problem in Kubernetes, it's a good chance it's going to be Red Hat that's going to fix it. If there's some new innovation that's going to happen in Kubernetes, it's a good chance that Red Hat are going to be driving that innovation. So what that means for our customers is that, you know, if they're using Kubernetes and they have a problem with it, they're talking to the company that can go into the upstream and make sure that those problems get fixed. Equally, our customers can feed back to us and say, wouldn't it be great if Kubernetes could do this? That goes into the hands of our engineering team, and our engineering team can galvanize the community to make that potentially a new release, a new feature in a later release. You know, it's really powerful stuff. But the key thing is we take all of these fantastic innovations that you can see here on the left-hand side in the open source community, and we turn that into enterprise-ready products. So that's kind of on one side. So with this foundation of a trusted enterprise Kubernetes platform, we then add the productive enhancements to deliver an application platform with all those components that you need that are fully integrated to build, deploy, and manage containerized applications. OpenShift 4 was released this year, and in many ways, OpenShift 4 is a much smarter Kubernetes platform because we've streamlined the installation and the upgrade experience. You can be up and running now with a fully configured Kubernetes cluster in less than 15 minutes. You have everything you need from metering and monitoring at the cluster level, application and developer services. Kubernetes updates, security patches, and component updates can be deployed within a single click. It's based on Red Hat Enterprise Linux Core OS. OpenShift can actually update the underlying operating system and scale at the node level, which is particularly useful when you deploy OpenShift on cloud infrastructure, because the entire cluster can scale up and down based on your application needs. So OpenShift 4 scales with your needs from 10 containers to 10,000 containers. So really powerful stuff. And again, another customer example. In the automotive industry, people like Tesla, Uber, and Lyft are now competing with traditional car companies. So to really differentiate themselves, digital services are becoming more and more important. So BMW's connected drive, for anyone who drives a BMW, you'll know it enhances what they call the ultimate driving machine with a digital service experience that enhances the driver's experience. So it lets drivers find and navigate to restaurants, use a concierge service to make a dinner reservation. And with the Connected Drive mobile app, you can remotely start your car and heat it up when it's cold outside. The Connected Drive backend runs entirely on OpenShift. It processes over 1 billion requests a week. That's the power of something like OpenShift, with the scale of applications, with the scale of containers, of what something like OpenShift can do for your business. And also BMW uses data analytics to personalize these services and to create new experiences. So they're really able to use OpenShift as also an innovation platform as well to test out new applications and new features. So one of the things that a lot of customers want now is they want the cloud-like experience, but they want it everywhere. So not just if they're running in a public cloud, but also if they're doing this on a private cloud or on-premise on some physical kit. So let's talk a bit about how OpenShift 4 enables that cloud-like experience everywhere by automating the day two management. So no matter what infrastructure you've chosen, OpenShift provides the necessary tooling and process automation to enable teams to operate Kubernetes efficiently and economically. So for our customers, the power here is that no matter where they decide their infrastructure is going to sit, as you can see, whether it's bare metal, whether it's VMware, whether it's Red Hat's virtualization, our OpenStack platform, AWS, Azure, Google, wherever they decide, they get a consistent platform across their business. And this is what we're seeing more and more with organizations wanting, is that they may deploy on-premise, they may deploy in one cloud or multiple clouds, but from a development team's perspective, what they don't want to happen is to have development teams having one development platform over here for on-premise and a different development platform in the cloud, and maybe different flavors of that cloud. So they're never getting a consistent feel with developers using the same tool and the ops team using the same tools. Because the problem that can lead to is having to have different pockets of skills within the business. The power of OpenShift is that no matter where it runs, it's the same tool and it's the same platform for all of your development needs. And OpenShift automated installation provides a really simple, reliable, opinionated, and immutable installation process for OpenShift, taking advantage of the technology that we acquired from Core OS during our acquisition of them last year. On top of the Red Hat Core OS operating system, which is designed and optimized for running containers. The self-hosted process makes upgrading OpenShift customers in production a risk-free and repeatable task, and it really is as simple as updating an application on your iPhone. OpenShift also gives a choice to the IT ops if they prefer a customizable or immutable installation method on top of traditional Red Hat Linux, which allows them to install and manage OpenShift clusters in whatever way the organization is sanctioned. So what we're really giving here is, we took a lot of the feedback from our customers from OpenShift 3, and we've really enhanced the installation upgrade experience of OpenShift 4 to give you that real cloud-like experience everywhere. As we said, as easy as an update on your iPhone and downloading and updating that. So again, really powerful stuff for our customers. When you're translating best practices into Kubernetes concepts, you're not reinventing the wheel, and you end up with a really truly hybrid application. Operators function the same no matter where they're running. And the operator framework is a set of tools that helps you build and run operators on a Kubernetes cluster, including an SDK to get you up and running quickly. So how do you get to these operators? So the Operator Hub that you may have heard of, it was launched by Red Hat and our launch partners AWS, Microsoft, and Google earlier this year. It provides a single place on the internet for developers to publish operators and for customers to find and consume those operators. These operators meet certain quality standards, so you can have the confidence they'll deliver what they promise. You can deploy these operators on any Kubernetes distribution, not just OpenShift. But we've also integrated the Operator Hub into OpenShift, so where you can also find fully certified operators from our partners that meet a very high bar of quality standards. So that's the difference between the Operator Hub here, but also what you find in OpenShift. In OpenShift, you'll find those certified OpenShift operators that are a much higher standard that we've certified and tested. This is really powerful for our customers because it means that our developers can create the operators that our ops team can consume to manage the lifecycle of their application. It's also really powerful for ISVs. So we've got many ISVs that have created an operator for their application. So now our customers can actually deploy something from a third-party software vendor. They now no longer need to rely on the skills of that third-party vendor. They can OpenShift and Kubernetes can manage the lifecycle of that application for them using operators. So this again is a really powerful thing that we've done in OpenShift 4. Inside of OpenShift, admins have full control over which operators are installed across the cluster and gain tools for upgrading them from a central point. So key thing here is, it's not it's not kind of like a free for all. There was a real control here from the admins in terms of what access is available to these operators for your enterprise. And our developers, our engineers, they interact with operators in a self-service manner, just like any other Kubernetes objects. Here you can see on this slide here is a developer's view of all the operator capabilities exposed to them with self-service access to manage them. So the value of this is really tremendous. As I mentioned, it's something that's so powerful, not just for our customers, but really for developers and our ISVs. So it's one of the first times I've seen in any software, one piece of the software really empowering different people, from third-party software vendors to the actual developers, then to the ops guys as well. And again, another customer example to share, Ticketmaster talking about the fact that they can now deploy Prometheus at scale in a more self-service and self-managing manner by being able to use the operators. It was quite a powerful quote there. They couldn't have hoped to have managed the 344 Prometheus instances without the domain knowledge the operator encapsulates. That's a real example of the power of an operator that we can bring to the forefront here. So a lot of our customers also say to us, okay, well, we're looking at things like AWS as our infrastructure, and what's the benefits of running OpenShift on AWS? So, we share a lot of information, but I'm always keen to share stuff when it's come from independent analysts who've done a lot of research into this. And a recent IDC report that you can see on the slides there, and that we can send details out to anyone that's interested, specifically address the value of running OpenShift on AWS. And the results of that report showed that customers were able to see significant improvements to process and resultant revenues by running OpenShift on AWS cloud infrastructure. And when you see things like 60-70% increase in productivity levels, being able to have a multi-cloud environment and be a lot more agile, and up to 15% more revenue worth tens of millions of dollars per year. It's really powerful stuff around the power of a enterprise class Kubernetes platform running on an infrastructure as a service like AWS. So again, if this is of interest to anyone that's looking at AWS, we can share this report with you. One of the things that we also want to do is that we understand that from our customers' perspective that they will want to deploy something like OpenShift, but not necessarily just in one place. As we said, they want hybrid, they want multi-cloud. So to help you manage many different OpenShift clusters, we've now also got a SaaS-based management console that allows you to register existing OpenShift clusters and provision new ones, so you can get comprehensive visibility across all your clusters. You simply log on to cloud.redhat.com and you're good to go. Here's where you can see everything that you're running on both on-premise and in the cloud. And another example to talk about, in the airline industry, Cathay Pacific is a familiar name to many of you and many air travelers. And it operates in a region with the biggest growth in the industry, but who also needs to be very mindful of the impact on the environment. So their mission is to become the world's best airline with a strategy to improve flight operations, to make flights more fuel efficient and to improve customer interactions. They've modernized all of their legacy infrastructure with OpenShift, running in a hybrid cloud environment based on OpenStack and AWS. OpenShift supports all business to consumer applications, which allows them to deliver value to customers faster. And they can now deploy new services in 30 to 60 minutes, and the infrastructure required in only 5 seconds. For example, to run marketing promotions based on seat availability. And in last year, they won the award in the best airline category, best entertainment and best economy class. And I think for me that the key message with this here is, being able to deploy new services in 30 to 60 minutes and their infrastructure within 5 seconds. So when you think about an airline that may have seats that come available, and as we said, marketing promotions, to be able to to respond that quickly is really why containers are such an important part of digital innovation. Traditionally, a lot of our customers, and we have many stories with this that we will share with you, where they will talk about their challenges that it can take them months to release new functionality or new services to their customers, just in terms of provisioning the infrastructure, the development life cycles, the challenges they face. And the one common theme with OpenShift is the amount of time it reduces to market. And in today's competitive landscape and new innovative companies popping up everywhere, disrupting the industry, being able to compete with them means that you need speed. And this is really where Cathay Pacific are using OpenShift to give them that advantage. So a really powerful story. And finally, and certainly last but certainly not least, I think probably the reason for saving this to last is one of the most important aspects when we talk about speed to market is development. We also want to talk a bit about how OpenShift and OpenShift 4 enables developers to innovate and build next generation applications in a new way. So what you're seeing here, and like me, when I see this slide, it's a bit of like, wow, it kind of takes your breath away about just all of these different projects and components. But this is a map of all the cloud native components that you would need to choose from in order to run containers in production. So it's been compiled by the Cloud Native Computing Foundation, which is the same open source governing body that's home to Kubernetes, which was its first project. It covers everything from infrastructure through application, developer services, as well as observability tools for the whole stack. And it gets bigger and more complicated every few weeks when a new revision rolls out. And this is the real cloud native app dev challenge. Anyone building their own container platform would need to vet, test, and select individual technologies throughout this stack. They need to keep up with each component individually throughout its life cycle and make sure that they all work together and they're all integrated and working together. This is what OpenShift is. OpenShift does this work all for you. We bring all of these components together, we test and support the whole stack. We include validated integrations for networking, storage, metrics, login, monitoring, ingress, authentication, authorization, languages, frameworks, middleware, and databases. So all of those things, and that's why the key message I'd like to get across here is that what we are doing is bringing all of these things together to provide you with a world-class, market-leading container platform, which otherwise, if you wanted to do yourself, would take so much time, so much engineering, so much effort, and also a lot of cost and overhead. So while some customers sometimes say to us, okay, yeah, but we can do this and it's free of charge, we can download this and we can use it and we can build our own. The total cost of ownership of the overhead of the skills you need to maintain this far outstrips any cost that you would pay for OpenShift. So really this is the power of what OpenShift brings, that we take all of these innovations and bring it together, allow you to run your containers at scale. And from a developer point of view, no matter what architecture you choose for your applications, what programming language the developers find most useful, and what services you want to use as building blocks, we provide in OpenShift a single and consistent development model across the build, test, deploy, monitor, and review lifecycle of that application. So really allows you to have this kind of lifecycle approach to building your applications. And as we discussed before, we support a very broad range of application types and frameworks. So service mesh and serverless are exciting technologies that make it easier to build and run microservices architectures. And we support both of these in OpenShift. Service mesh provides networking capabilities at the application layer, so that application components can discover services and communicate with one another. We also, in OpenShift, support monitoring and tracing of inter-application network traffic using Kiali, Jaeger, and Istio framework underneath. So again, bringing all of these new things in the new serverless and service mesh world into OpenShift. And Although service is less mature at this stage, and we've announced support for a number of event sources on the native framework, including Azure Functions, OpenWhisk, and CamelK. So we're already at the forefront of a lot of these technologies, enabling our customers to build next generation applications. So in terms of developer tools and enabling greater developer productivity, we talk a little bit here about code-ready workspaces, and what code-ready workspaces is about is it provides an Eclipse-based developer IDE that's really tightly integrated with OpenShift. Code-ready workspaces provide support for development teams to build applications together. Even if you're using things like Visual Studio Code, IntelliJ, or any other IDE, OpenShift plugins allow you to use your existing tools, yet still deploy your apps on OpenShift. And for command line users, you have a very powerful CLI to deploy applications on the command line. So, from our developers' perspective, we're providing all of these tools to really empower them to get started and be efficient with building their applications. And to that effect, also to talk very briefly about the Red Hat Universal Base Image. What if you could build once, deploy anywhere? And our developers need to standardize and build on a single base image to simplify their build engineering and support costs. They need to evaluate the quality of a base image like any other user. They also need to redistribute their applications built on these container images. The Red Hat Universal Base Image streamlines the developer's pipeline by maintaining a single image that can be run on all platforms. So again, when we talk a bit about hybrid and multi-cloud and wanting to run your application anywhere, this is the power of the Universal Base Image for us. And to then talk a bit about customers again. So let's use a banking example. So Emirates NBD, they're undergoing a 4-year digital transformation project and trying to change the culture of their bank. By moving their banking infrastructure onto a private cloud built with OpenShift, they can now change and innovate at speed and deliver new services in days, not months or years. So for example, the WhatsApp digital banking app was built with plug and play APIs and was deployed on their private cloud in only 3 days. Going forward, they plan on pushing innovation boundaries such as real-time banking built on Kafka and more personalized services. Again, the theme there is speed. This is the power of OpenShift, to be able to have an idea and then build an application and get it out to your customers in 3 days. That's breaking grounds for our customers. And we've got so many examples. And I think I was at one of our OpenShift Commons events earlier this year, and we had a customer on stage saying how they actually got something into production in hours, from building it in hours. It's the power of what OpenShift can bring and the innovation. So this is allowing Emirates NBD to really be at the forefront of banking and provide applications to their customers a lot faster. And it's not just within the banking sector. So our customers across the spectrum are doing amazing innovative things. So the Lufthansa Technik is building an entirely new real-time data stream business from scratch. So they use Red Hat OpenShift and developed an entirely new product and business line to make airline operations safer and more reliable. So aviator customers can track their airline fleet and operations in real time and receive estimates for task and milestone completions. It's a hybrid cloud. It's Azure plus private data center solution built and developed with containers and Kubernetes through Red Hat OpenShift. So, the quote there from Tobias Meyer, the moment we have an idea, we can start building the product. And that's the whole point of this. It's from pen to production as quickly and as efficiently as possible. No having an idea and then waiting around for several weeks just to be able to get some kit to start developing on. The moment you have the idea, you start building the product. It's really powerful stuff for our customers. And finally, on this section around kind of the benefits for our customers. So again, I think it speaks for itself. The customer results have been documented and quantified. The business value of Red Hat, which was another report compiled by IDC, from a 531% return on investment in 5 years. But the real kind of statistic that sticks out here for me, or there's two, is the 66% faster development life cycle. And I think we've proved that through some of the customer examples, getting applications out to customers faster. But also to the point about Lufthansa just raised then around, once we have the idea, we can build the product. So 36% on average more applications per year. Those two statistics for me are the key thing. More applications, more services out to your customers faster. That's the real driver behind digital innovation for many of our customers. So, this is all stuff that's been, proved and tested and quantified by independent analysts working with our OpenShift customers. If you look at all of our references online for OpenShift, you'll see that common theme that most people talk about, how it's enabled them to get their speed to market a lot faster. And there are many more benefits. We talked a bit about Cathay Pacific. Hilton Hotels, they're delivering new capabilities and features with their OpenShift platform running on AWS in days instead of months. So that theme again about speed to market. And Amsterdam Schiphol Airport, they've implemented a multi-cloud platform spanning their own data center on AWS and Azure. It resulted in a 50% reduction in development time for their APIs and services. So they're really about this, enhancing that customer experience and using data and APIs to drive offerings to their customers while they're in the airport. So, really powerful stuff. Now, just to give you an update, because there's some new things with OpenShift, particularly this year that was announced at Summit. So, OpenShift is one platform, but has flexible consumption models. So we have Red Hat OpenShift Dedicated. So that's our managed service. It's a professionally managed service, enterprise-grade Kubernetes on one of the public clouds, whether that's AWS, Azure, or Google, your choice. And we offer a dedicated to a single customer with custom setups for private networks. So that's effectively where Red Hat are managing that for you, but you still get the benefits of OpenShift. You just don't have to have it in your own data center. But we also do a dedicated bring your own cloud. So a lot of our customers will say, great, we want you to manage it, but rather than spin up a new AWS environment or a new Azure, we've got our own. Could we bring our own cloud? Absolutely. So we can do that for you. We can also have then something called Red Hat Azure Red Hat OpenShift. Now this is something that was launched at our Red Hat Summit back in May, and it's a joint engineering operation and integrated support by both Microsoft and Red Hat co-located teams. So this is really powerful if you're an Azure customer, but you want to take advantage of running OpenShift on Azure, or you want to run Kubernetes and Linux containers on your Azure platform. But at the same time, you don't want to have to manage that yourself. Now you can actually have a joint managed service that you purchase through Microsoft and get access to Red Hat OpenShift on there. So that's again a really powerful offering for our Microsoft customers out there that have an Azure account. And then finally, we have Red Hat OpenShift Container Platform. That's our enterprise-grade Kubernetes platform that you manage. So this is where it's installed in your infrastructure, even your data center in your cloud. So you have the choices there of flexible consumption models depending on what suits your business. And I'd like to kind of finish up on just kind of why Red Hat is the best choice. We've taught some good examples, and hopefully I've given you a good overview on what OpenShift can bring to your business. But really, when we talk about why is Red Hat the best choice, it's the 4 C's. So it's code. So we are one of the leading Kubernetes contributors along with Google. And sometimes customers may not look into this or realize why this is important, but for me, it really is when it comes to open source software. There's a lot of organizations that will happily take open source code, but they won't contribute back. Everything that Red Hat does, and everything that we build goes immediately back into the upstream. So we're continually feeding the open source community. We invest a lot of our time and our engineers in there, and we lead or co-lead nearly 50% of the special interest groups in Kubernetes. And as we say, we're one of the leading contributors alongside Google, as you can see there in terms of commits. That means that we're really driving the future of the technology that really underpins the modern container platforms in the market today. Everyone that talks to you about containers will be trying to talk to you about a Kubernetes-based offering. And that's why it's really important that people understand how much Red Hat is the driving force behind that. Customers, Kubernetes is not all that old. It's really kind of only been around for the last 4 years or so. And we've been working with it since day one. And that means that if you look at the market, we have over 1,000 customers globally. What that really means to us is that we've got a ton of experience of running Kubernetes for enterprise applications at scale in production across every industry you can imagine in every corner of the globe. And I think that's really important when you're looking at who do you want to work with for your container platform, because as we said, running Kubernetes at scale is not easy. There are organizations that are still looking to try and build their own offerings they're struggling because it's not easy. And we've been there, we've done it, we've got the battle scars, and we've got a market leading product. And it's really important that we've got all of these customers that are trusting and betting their business and their applications on OpenShift across the world. Cloud, we've maintained from day one that Red Hat will always be cloud agnostic. So as we move into this world now, which I think we kind of already are there, but certainly more and more, I meet very few customers that only want one cloud provider. They want to avoid kind of this vendor lock-in 2.0 that they've kind of just unpicked themselves from proprietary technology, and they want to embrace open source, but they want to be able to run in a hybrid or multi-cloud environment. So we provide the same developer experience no matter where OpenShift is running in whatever cloud it may be, and we have strong partnerships with all of these guys. As you've seen, the work we do with AWS on making some AWS native services available within OpenShift, the partnership with Azure around the managed service, and obviously the work we've done with Google on contributing towards the Kubernetes community. And we have got an extensive container catalog of certified partner images. So, a really strong relationship with the cloud providers, and more to come as we work with the IBM cloud, as we work with Alibaba, and all the different infrastructure providers. And, the term comprehensive, Red Hat is not just a container platform provider. There's other stuff you need on top of a container platform to make your applications do what you need to do for your business. And we provide the developer tools, the security, the storage. You need container storage, we provide that. You need management, we provide that. But also your applications will need integration. They're not going to be an island, they're going to need to talk to other applications. We provide middleware that allows you to do that integration at the container level. We provide automation technologies, BPM, process management technologies. We provide technologies that allow you to manage and secure your APIs. So, Red Hat is not just, here's a container platform, it's all of the services above and beyond you need that to make your applications work at scale. So, OpenShift's really been designed to address the primary concerns organizations have about adopting containers and Kubernetes. It's a trusted enterprise Kubernetes platform, as I mentioned. It also helps to address container security concerns. We have full stack automation for operations that enable OpenShift to help improve management and consumption of a container platform. And developers can ultimately get applications to production sooner, as we've shown some great examples of, and realize the business results you need. So hopefully that was a really good summary of kind of what OpenShift is, OpenShift 4 being released this year, and some customer examples. And finally, I'd like to talk a bit about the IBM Cloud Pak. So, one of the things that have happened recently that you may have seen is that IBM have announced that a lot of their middleware is now going to be bundled up into a Cloud Pak for applications, data, integration, automation, and multi-cloud management, and all deployed on OpenShift across the different infrastructure footprints you can see below. This is really powerful for our IBM customers who've got a lot of middleware, a lot of their applications may be tightly integrated with this technology, but they still want to have the ability to modernize and move that into a containerized world onto OpenShift. And that's the power of the acquisition of IBM with Red Hat, and now with our partners on the webinar, Prolifics, who bring together that expertise of the IBM middleware portfolio, but also the new world of the Red Hat OpenShift for them. So, someone like Prolifics is a really key partner for us that can actually take the IBM middleware and OpenShift and really make the solutions work for our customers. So again, this is something that both Prolifics and Red Hat can talk to you about in a bit more detail. And with that, I'd just like to open it up to any questions and just say thank you to everyone who's attended the webinar today, and look forward to answering any questions you may have.
Thank you very much, Graham. Really good stuff there. Just going to open the floor to questions. So everyone on the call is going to be unmuted. So if you're not asking a question, please do keep yourself on mute so don't ensue chaos. Thank you.
Hi, I have a question about OpenShift. I'd like to know, what is the advantage of using OpenShift over like your standard cloud native container platform?
Hi, this is
hi.
Oh,
go ahead.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So this is a very good question, and a lot of customers ask this question. Basically, people who have been using Kubernetes for some time, they will know how difficult it is to implement an enterprise-ready platform to run your business-critical applications. You get to consider a lot of factors like container security, day-to-day activities like upgrades, patching, scaling, monitoring, and also think about developers who want to use different languages and frameworks like .NET, Ruby, Java, Node.js. What OpenShift gives you is a trusted enterprise-grade Kubernetes platform, and it gives a consistent application and deployment across multiple cloud platforms and environments. And it also gives you integrated services with different enterprise systems so that you can connect to different enterprise systems on your on-premise systems as well. So you get a hybrid or multi-cloud environment across on-premise or your public cloud. So a lot of customers use OpenShift, and there are over 1,000 customers from different areas like machine learning, IoT, big data. So that tells how powerful that platform is over Kubernetes. Does that answer your question?
Yeah, and it's Graham here. Happy to add a bit more to that. I think what we typically see with customers is that they often look at their public cloud providers. So let's give an example that they use in AWS, and we often get the question, okay, well, why don't we just use AWS's Kubernetes? They provide it. The main reason for that, as mentioned throughout the webinar, is that there's a lot more that you need to do with Kubernetes to make it become a kind of an enterprise-grade container platform. So there's a lot of other things that you need to integrate, which are not included out of the box with some of these other public cloud container platforms. So things like monitoring, metrics, and all these other open source tools that we bring together and provide as one platform. The other reason that we see a lot of customers is lock-in as well. So if you're using the CLIs from a public cloud provider, they're all proprietary, so you're locked into that cloud provider. Not every cloud provider's Kubernetes offering is the same. So if you did want to use your applications in different clouds, that's the challenge that you have. Whereas with OpenShift, no matter where you're running, it's the same development and operations experience across the cloud. And the whole idea of OpenShift, really from a development perspective, is the developers should, basically don't need to care what the underlying infrastructure is. They know they're working with OpenShift, they know they develop, and wherever that application is going to be deployed, there's no change to the way that they work or the things that they need to do. So really about, as you saw from the IDC report, really helps create a lot of operational efficiency within organizations. And that's why people want to use OpenShift to be both an on-prem development platform, but also a cloud development platform as well.
Brilliant. Thank you very much, gents.
So, Graham, it's Steve Cox here. I've got a question that one of our customers has actually asked that I said I'd ask on the call for them. What are the infrastructure and licensing costs overhead when compared to deploying on a base cloud native platform? Is it a large difference? Or?
Yeah, well, so cloud native platforms tend to have cluster level pricing for Kubernetes control plane, plus then the compute costs for the application hosts. And you also got to look into that they also require additional costs for external services. So like this is what I mentioned before about these additional things that you need to run containers at scale, like registry, security, identity and access management, load balancing, storage, monitoring, automation. These are all the things that customers will look at. And often what happens is a customer will say, actually, well, the cost of just using vanilla Kubernetes within AWS compared to a subscription cost for OpenShift, OpenShift seems to be more expensive. But when you actually then factor in all of these additional things that you would need to do, that really then brings the total cost of ownership to be a lot higher. The other thing to think of as well is that we often say to our customers, what do you want to be? Do you want to be focused on what makes your business money, or do you want to be container platform engineers and building your own container platforms? And when we kind of have those sorts of conversations, I think they realize actually we don't want to be wasting our engineers' time building something that we could just buy and have out the box. Because once the one thing about OpenShift is that our integrations don't leave your business once they become skilled in doing those integrations. And that's the other thing that customers struggle with in the market, is that if someone goes out there and builds all of these integrations for things like identity and access management and registry and security into a vanilla Kubernetes platform, their skills are very much in demand. So they can quite easily then walk away and take the next job. So for us with OpenShift, it's about having that security as well of a container platform that gives you everything you need, and you just focus on building your applications. And really, that was what the webinar was all about today, and what you've seen from the customer examples. You know, one of my favorites was Emirates MBD. You know, that they wanted to build, you know, a WhatsApp service for their customers, an application, and they were just able to go and build that. They used their developers, their talented people, to go and build this new service that then they could do it on OpenShift. They didn't have to worry about all of those additional things they needed to build out of the box, and that's, I guess, the power of what OpenShift provides. You've kind of got a flavor of it today. There's a lot more. You know, OpenShift means different things to different teams. So, you know, if you're on from, you know, if you're dialing in from a customer and you're a security perspective, you know, there's a whole load of material we can share with you on container security. If you're looking at it from an ops angle, there's a lot of stuff around OpenShift 4, around automated installations, that we can talk to you about, that I'm sure will be of interest. And then equally, if you're a developer, you know, we touched on some of the developer tools. We can do a lot more with that. So I think the message for me is, if it's something you want to investigate more, please reach out to the Prolifics team, and, you know, Prolifics and ourselves can come in and really help you understand more about what you're trying to achieve.
Thanks a lot. Very comprehensive answer. Brilliant.
Lovely. Thank you very much, Graham, for all the answers there. And if there are no more questions, then I think we will wrap up. Well, thank you for attending, everyone. Bye-bye.